Hello bookies, and welcome to Library Haul. Library Haul is a short video about the books that we hauled away from the library. This month will focus on St. Patrick's Day. We have children books, YA books, and even a book specially for authors. So let's get to it. Our first book for the month of March in honor of St. Patrick's Day is St. Patrick's Day by Gail Gibbons. This book is a short nonfiction book about the history of St. Patrick's Day, why we celebrate it, and all the traditions that are in store. Our next St. Patrick's Day themed book is St. Patrick's Day by Anne Rockwell and Lizzie Rockwell. You may remember this author from last month as we discussed Valentine's Day with this classroom. This time, we learned some new activities we can do to celebrate St. Patrick's Day and how special it is to share it with all of our friends. And then our final St. Patrick's Day theme for the month is That's What Leprechauns Do by Eve Bunting. This is a book about 3 leprechauns that are off to put their pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. But of course, they get into a little bit of mischief along the way. So this is a fun book about the lore of leprechauns, and it has some great pictures in it and a pretty funny storyline. So my youngest really enjoyed this book. So that's it for our St. Patrick's Day books. Our next book is Oh No, or How My Science Project Destroyed the World, written by Matt Barnett. This was a book that's not so much interesting for its words, but because of its pictures. It has very big, bold print pictures, and so you kind of create the storyline in your head as you're reading the words. It's a pretty cool book about a smart little girl who creates a robot for the science project, but things get horribly out of hand. So it's a fun book if you like more picture books rather than wordy books. The next book I checked out in honor of my youngest, and it's called The Monster, and this is by Tara Lazar. This is a book about a boy who visits the monster to find some protection from his room from his little sister. The only problem is the monsters love his little sister, so the plan kind of backfires. Now they have a house full of monsters and they don't know what to do with them. Great colors and an interesting twist on the story of all the monsters that's hiding underneath your bed. The book that I checked out this month for my middle son is properly titled The Middle Child Blues, and this is by Kristen Crow. This book is about a little boy who's too big but also too little. He's caught in the middle and he doesn't know what to do. It has a great blues style rhythm to it, so you could sing this book if you're pretty good at the blues. It's a lot of fun to read, and I even enjoyed this one myself. So I dedicate this book to all the middle children out there in the world. So that was it for our children's section haul. Now we'll go into what I checked out for the YA. This is called Love Letters to the Dead by Ava Deliria. This so far has been a really powerful reading. I'm about halfway through it. It's about a girl who's coping with the death of her sister as well as the separation of her parents. And everything seems to be all topsy-turvy. Now she's at a new school with new friends and trying to discover who she really is. They're written in letter style, very similar to The Perks of Being a Wallflower, and it's a very sad read so far. I'm about halfway through, and I'm very interested to see how she develops and grows as she goes through the novel. But this was a pretty great book to read. Good luck trying to find it, though. It's pretty popular, so when you look for it from your library, you might find yourself on a waiting list. But I highly recommend it. And then for this month's surprise find, for many of you may know that I'm also an author. And you can check out my debut children's book, Me Being Me. It's about a little boy who's dealing with going into 6th grade without his best friend and all the changes that comes with that. So, because I also spend a lot of my time writing, I read books that focus on writing. And this particular book was recommended to me because of that writing. And so this is Francine Prose, Reading Like a Writer, a guide for people who love books and those who want to write them. This is a pretty technical book. It flows like a novel, but it's not a novel. So if you're not really interested in being a writer, you may not want to read this book. But if you are interested in being a writer, it is one of the books that's highly recommended by authors like Stephen King and others. So I also recommend it, but don't expect to just be entertained by it as so much as you learn from it. So that's it for this month's library haul. You can check out all the pictures and information about these books on the blog. Just click the link below in the description and it'll take you to the children's section and the adult section where you can learn more about the books we checked out for the month of March. I'll see you all again next month where we'll have some new children books, new YA books, and of course some new adult fiction. And I'll also be sharing with you what I've been reading on ebook, which is a lot lately. So you all have a great rest of the month. I'll